Chapter 64. Your goo corpse is not strong enough. Lord Haiduzi, what's going on? Sun Juan panicked. His vision was blurry and he couldn't see anything. He could only hear voices. Standing right next to him, Haiduzi's expression changed drastically. It's an array formation. What he threw out just now should be the legendary ray formation treasure plate. It's engraved with an array formation taboo, and when activated, it can release a simple array. This array should be a maze that affects our perception. You're quite knowledgeable. Sanchi's calm voice appeared beside them. Haiduzi's expression hardened as he raised his hand and conjured a spell. The black fog churned, and his spiritual energy transformed into a poisonous snake that bit towards the source of the sound with vicious power. Ah! A scream sounded. It was a little familiar. Sun Juan's body had been bitten by a venomous snake and blood was flowing wildly from the wound. He covered his wound, cried out in agony. Lord Haiduzi, it's me. You hit the wrong person. As soon as he finished speaking, a swoosh sounded and Sun Juan's woe stopped abruptly. A sword had cut off his head. Do you think you'll be fine just because you found an immortal cultivator to rely on? Sanchi held his blood-stained sword and spat. How dare try to assassinate me? This is my revenge. Sungshuan's eyes were filled with regret. If he had known that Sanchi was so powerful, he would never have revealed himself so early. Young master, what should I do? Do I help you? Big Smart asked. No need. Just stay where you are. The array formation is protecting you. You're very safe. Sanchi shook the gentleman's sword to shake off the blood. The blade of the sword immediately returned to its bright and clean state. After killing Sun Juan, Sanchi controlled the array formation such that his vision and consciousness were not affected. He turned around and stared coldly at Haiduzi, who had brought him a great deal of grief, and interrogated, Haiduzi, do you think you're very impressive? Do you think you can really exterminate someone's entire family that easily? I admit that your abilities have exceeded my expectations. Unfortunately, you're still too young. Haiduzi sniggered. The surrounding goo corpses suddenly turned their heads. Their eyes were white, but they were all staring at Sanchi, as if they had found a target. They then suddenly charged towards him. What? Sanchi was surprised. How did he discover him? The yin-yang reversal ray should have affected his vision and divine sense. Even a golden core would move cautiously. How did this fellow's goo corpses discover him? Is it because of Thegu? Sanchi guessed the reason and hurriedly took a step back. He raised his sword and slashed horizontally. With a sizzling sound, several heads were cut off. More goo corpses charged over, drowning Sanchi. Sanchi, are you alright? If you can't win, run, you stupid fool. His goo can lock onto you through smell. Liu Ruxu stomped her feet anxiously. If Sanchi die, where else would she find such a long-lasting furnace? He can't escape. Although this array formation has trapped me, this street has already been blocked by my goo corpse. No one can escape. Haiduzi laughed smugly. Even if I don't have Dharma treasures like the 100 ghost Gomfalon like the demon doused, I still have more than 100 goo corpses that I can control. So what if a newbie who has just entered the Chi refinement realm has an array disc? Let's see how long you can withstand my goo corpse army. It's indeed my smell. The yin-yang reversal formation disc doesn't seem to be able to isolate smells. Sanchi was deep in thought. He had given one of his hands to the goo corpse to bite, but the other party had broken his teeth doing so. Sanchi's invincible Vajra physique made his body comparable to metal. Even if he was drowned by so many goo corpses, it would be very difficult for the goo corpses to bite him to death. He said, unhappily, your goo corpse isn't very strong. Why are you so weak? You can't even compare to a postnatal martial artist, yet you want to kill me. Originally, he was prepared to use the goo corpse's army to farm a wave of rewards. But in the end, their ability was not enough to kill him. He was very disappointed. Sanchi, don't be careless. Those that can't hurt you are all low-level goo corpses. They have only just been refined by him, and are only slightly stronger than ordinary people. Liu Ruxu reminded him. Pucci, a black claw suddenly pierced through Sanchi's back and into his chest, crushing his heart. The goo corpse, with a slightly different appearance, appeared behind him. Wisps of baleful aura spread out, and its body was black like charcoal. Its skin was tough like steel. Sanchi looked down. His blood was burning the goo corpse's claws. His expression was calm as he enjoyed his death. He grinned. Not bad. Among these normal goo corpses, there were actually these high-grade ones. How ignorant! I killed almost all of your Song family, so how can I not had a high-level goo corpse? I wonder how this iron-skinned goo corpse tastes. Haiduzi thought that he had killed Song Shi and laughed smugly. He had deliberately hidden the low-grade, iron-skinned goo corpse that was comparable to the late-stage Shi refinement realm among the normal goo corpses for this moment. Not bad, Song Shi replied, and pulled his body out from the goo corpse's claws. He fell to the ground and died. You have been killed by the goo corpse. Physique +3. You have absorbed strength from death and obtained to freedom attribute points. You will be resurrected in 3 seconds. No resurrection location set. Resurrection on the spot by default. After Song Shi was resurrected, he heard Liu Ruxu calling him. Song Shi, are you dead? Reply to me if you aren't. Liu Ruxu held a jade token in her hand and wanted to ask for help. However, this place was in the array formation. If Song Shi did not give her permission, no one could enter it anyways. In not dead, be quiet, give my sister a healing pill. Song Shi replied and ignored the iron-skinned goo corpse. He waved his sword and continued to kill the normal goo corpses. These normal goo corpses were extremely useless. After clearing them, he could use the cleared space for the iron-skinned goo corpse to farm rewards. You must be injured. That iron-skinned goo corpse is invulnerable and is very difficult to deal with. Liu Ruxu heaved a sigh of relief. Why don't I ask Deacon Aobai to come over? You can open the array formation later and let him help you. No need. Song Shi hurriedly rejected it. What a joke. He was going to court death in the array formation. How could he allow outsiders to interfere? But Liu Ruxu wanted to say something, but Song Shi's voice that was beside her ear suddenly disappeared. This array formation is so powerful that it can even disrupt sound. Liu Ruxu was shocked. She knew that Song Shi had activated the soundproofing function of the array formation. It should be a relatively high-level array formation. Looks like has indeed confidence in dealing with Haiduzi. She relaxed and took out a healing pill for Sanbei to eat. Seeing that Liu Ruxu did not say anything else, Song Shi nodded. This woman was very smart. She saw that he had the ability to solve the problem at hand and immediately quietened down. In fact, this yin-yang reversal ray formation disc had many functions. He was still exploring using it. At the very least, in terms of ray functions that could cause confusion, it could mess up one's vision and divine sense. Moreover, it could even isolate sound. Otherwise, Haiduzi would have charged over and attacked him a long time ago instead of running around on the spot. Good stuff. If I want to court death in a short period of time, I can use this formation to conceal myself. Song Shi's eyes lit up. With a puff, he was killed by the iron-skinned goo corpse again. After Song Shi activated the sound isolation function, a circle of waves spread out. Other than his own breathing, Haiduzi could no longer hear anything. His eyes were dark as he stared at the dense fog. It's a very complex maze. Why divine sense, vision, and voice are all isolated? I don't know what is happening at all. Fortunately, I have given the orders for my goo corpse to attack before he activates his Dharma treasure. When this person kills the normal goo corpses, the smell of goo corpse will also be left on his body for the other goo corpses to locate him. Otherwise, it would be impossible to locate him.